You are now listening to Limited Trust, a Devastator podcast. Let's get into it.
Episode 9, Limited Trust, a Devastator podcast. As you can probably tell, I am out in the fucking van again. I'm trying to adjust the levels here because I actually had to bring out the fucking computer out to the fucking van because the fucking phone corrupted the first 30-minute episode, which is a nice one about music. And then I recorded a second one, and I looked, and 11 minutes in, it was just not doing anything. So after being extremely frustrated, figuring all this out, going inside, coming back outside. Now I'm outside again. I'm fucking cold. I've been outside for a fucking hour. There's geese flying all over the goddamn place. It's fucking Thanksgiving, so the neighbors' people just pulled in with a loud-ass fucking vehicle. When out here at 7, it was all right. It was nice. So, what the fuck ever. Whatever. Anyway, episode 9. It's nice to be back. I kind of wanted to talk about, I talked about music in the episode that got corrupted. And I was going on and on about music and my time making music and the part of my life that I felt like I lost when I stopped making music. So today I think we're going to get into my struggles with addiction over the years and sobriety and stuff like that, because a lot of people have connected with me over that and my sharing my path to a drug and alcohol free life, which wasn't intentional. You know, I mean, I guess anything's intentional if you do it and you intend to do it, but it was almost necessary. What I've come to learn about my addictive personality is I can't just do anything socially. I can't drink socially. I can't use drugs socially. I can't use fucking tobacco socially. Because even before I quit smoking tobacco, I would smoke, you know, let's say we're at a Thanksgiving, like today. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thursday. Like something like today, I would go outside and smoke, like with my mom or whoever was outside smoking, and I would smoke an entire Black and Mild standing outside with them. And I would do this. Oh, he's running over the yard and shit. What the fuck? Damn, B, I seen you hit that shit. Oh, you just look right at me in my eyes too. Anyway, he ran over the plow marker. I would go out and smoke an entire Black and Mild with standing there with my mom, standing there with my aunt, standing there with fucking whoever. And that was a lot. And well, we'll just restart this again. Or are we gonna restart again? Should I restart? Fuck restarting it. Whatever. I'm like fucking annoyed today, man. What a fucking mess this has turned out to be. Anyway, so that was pretty extreme. And I could never just drink 1 or 2 beers. I could never drink a shot. I could never have a mixed drink. I could never take 1 pill. I always had to fucking just go. And it wasn't like I had to go because I had to be the man at the party, you know, because a lot of this shit I was just doing by myself. But I felt like if I was drinking beer and I didn't get all fucked up, what a waste of X amount of beers that was. You know, if I didn't wake up feeling like fucking shit the next day, then it was basically a waste of fucking alcohol. And just like with anything, you know, why smoke a couple hits off of this blunt? I have to smoke the entire thing. Oh, and you were drug dealing at the time, so you had unlimited amounts of marijuana. So you would roll eighth blunts, quarter blunts, smoke them to the face, because you were driving somewhere. Everything had to be in excess, and that's not good, because there was times when I wasn't fucking drug dealing and I wasn't the man, and I still had to come up with these drugs, and it was always a fucking struggle. And I quit drinking first because I had a fucking episode walking in a mall with my cousin, drinking Sparks, going fucking crazy. And when I had to drink, I would just drink all the time, and it just became like a normal thing for Kyle to be all fucked up at everything. And I just couldn't do anything. Like, I didn't want to do anything without drinking. I didn't want to watch a movie. I didn't want to go to the movies. I didn't want to fucking... I remember I went to a movie with my cousin Amanda, and it was The Hills Have Eyes 2. And I had this big ass coat that I had like 9 beers in, all glass fucking bottles. And before we had to go, of course, I had to stop at my guys and get a bunch of 30 milligram morphine. And I remember sitting down, taking some morphine at the beginning of this movie, probably when I got in the fucking back in the truck. I drank all the beers within the first, I don't know, hour. Well, all the beers that I pulled out of my pockets, we'll say, because I think I ended up drinking like 6. And then I remember them waking me up when the movie was over, and I'm got beer bottles all around me, and I'm fucking knocking over these beer bottles and shit in a movie theater, and I just knew it was embarrassing for them. And I was totally fucked up. Now I got all these like 3 or 4 full beers in this big stupid coat that I'm trying to like manage, and I'm all fucked up. Shit like that. I just couldn't do anything. I fucking embarrassed my mom. I embarrassed my family. So quitting alcohol was like a good thing. And at one point I knew I was at my bottom when I had one Red Dog 16-ounce pounder left, and I never drank and drove. My mother asked me, like a heart-to-heart, if I, would you please not drive ever when you're drunk? And I was like, yes. And I respect my mother, and I love my mother and my family, and if they've asked me to do things, I do it without question. So that was one of the few things that she's fucking really asked me to do in my life. So that wasn't even a question. So no, I couldn't go out and get more beer that night. It wasn't even night. It was day. It was fucking light out. So I opened my last beer. I fucking turn. I knock it over. And it tips on the computer table in my room. A couple blah, blah, and I like panicked and went to grab it, and I knocked it further off onto the floor where it started dumping on the floor. I'm like, fuck. So what's the first thing that I do aside from tip the beer up and try to save it? Well, what does any rational person do? You drop on the floor and start sucking the fucking beer out of the carpet before it soaks it up. And it was rational, So I come back up from the floor with all this fucking carpet spice all over my face. And, well, the can did start spilling on the computer desk. So what do you do with that? You start sucking that off of the fucking computer desk as well. And then after you've sucked all the fucking alcohol you can off of the floor and the computer desk, then you got to do your damage control and see how much beer you have left in your last fucking can. And then you be mad about it for the rest of the fucking night. And just feel like you just totally fucked up. And I remember thinking, like, after I was done being upset, I remember thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? You know? What are you doing? And that, unfortunately, wasn't my quitting point. And I had lots more of these experiences out places and everywhere where I was just a total fucking asshole, a total drunken mess. And when I finally quit that was probably the best thing I could have done. And drugs were always, I kind of went through phases with drugs, smoking fucking weed, starting young. And then I did that regularly until I couldn't anymore when I got my felonies and then probation and rehab and all that. And then I became a fucking pillhead because I couldn't fucking be a pothead, I guess. And they didn't breathalyze me at probation, only when they showed up to my house, which I would just not answer the door. So that part never was really an issue. And I kind of figured out their schedule too. I figured out a lot of stuff about probation just by asking the right questions and kind of paying attention to the way they operated and what other people told me. But which all that did was just let me be an even bigger degenerate. I got to be a bigger junkie, a bigger fucking alcoholic, a bigger pillhead, a bigger fucking whatever. I fucking did. I was fucking. I was a mess, and the more I think about it, as I'm telling you this story right now, the amount of thought that went into how can I continue to be a fucking addict while on felony probation, which I'm gonna go do 15 years if I'm lucky, if I fuck this up. And it wasn't enough for me to say, like, you shouldn't do this anymore, dude. So of course, when you have to be a pillhead, well, I had to do that in massive excess as well. And I remember I had all special containers for all these different types of drugs because I didn't want them all in the same container. They all had to be individually labeled, and I always had to have, like, I had to have a fucking lot of them, all of them at all times. And then I would get like a special one, like a fucking blue 10 that fucking, only came around every so often. And I would have like a couple of those, and I would only take those on special occasions, like a fucking true degenerate. And I remember I would like, and I thought, and this was before the fucking whole opioid epidemic, this was before that. So I would have fucking Xanax, Klonopin. I was big on muscle relaxers. It's like cyclobenzaprine, Soma, and then the regular opiates. Like those aren't even opiates, but the regular opiates fucking complemented those. So I would have like these little concoctions. I've got a picture somewhere of like these concoctions that I would take. And I couldn't leave the house without several of these mixes in my pocket. And it would be like a 1/4 milligram Xanax, a 1/2 milligram Xanax, a fucking 2 cyclobenzaprines, and a 7.5 or a 10 or something, or a Percocet fucking 10 or, whatever. And I would have like 3 handfuls of those just to leave the house for a while. But I always had those, so I never really, and I had money, so I never really like was like strung out and all fucking whacked out because I didn't have drugs, because I worked at a place where there was just, I could get whatever I wanted. I could walk from one end of the factory to the other. I could pick up drugs from one person halfway through, walk to the other end, sell them, fucking, and then walk back, and then pay the person that I picked up the drugs from, and still make money and a pill, and go back to my seat in one pass. And like, that was just regular. So that didn't fucking help at all. And plus I was the weed man, so I had people dealing with me all the time. And it was just really easy to be a pillhead back then. And it wasn't even like frowned upon, you know. It was just like, oh yeah, you take something, you know. And I kind of just stopped taking those. I don't even know why. Just one day I didn't. I didn't take them, and then I kind of didn't take them for a while until I call it a relapse, but it really wasn't a relapse because I never really quit. But I had something kind of traumatic happen to me, and the way I felt like was the right way to deal with it was to first try to get on antidepressants, which I didn't let work. You know, after 2 days, I'm like, why am I not feeling better? And that's not how those work. So might as well continue taking these antidepressants and then start taking fucking illegal drugs again. And at that point, I was a real monster because as soon as I came back, now 15s were a thing, 30s were a thing, fucking Ativan was a thing, fucking all these different things I had access to. Opanas, all this bullshit. I never snorted pills, though. I never was a fan of that. I would just take them. So that was a long month. That was actually the first month of being a dad, which is real fucking, real good memory. But that was fucking total degenerate activity. And I remember at one point I was trying to write music. I was so fucking gacked out that I had put my head down and I had my pistol in my hand, and I ended up nodding out with the fucking gun in my hand, and Jimmy is there. He doesn't do drugs, you know, and he's like, what do I do? I remember him telling me this story afterwards. What do I do? So he doesn't know guns either, so he takes this fucking pistol out of my hand, puts it away, and kind of like puts me in a position where I'm not going to knock over all this shit. And that was a fucking low point. And I stopped taking antidepressants, which, again, I thought, fuck this, you know. And that was worse. I stopped taking all of it all at once, all the illegal drugs, the antidepressants. And that was like probably the worst thing I could have fucking done. I ended up going to the doctor trying to bullshit. Because I wanted something to feel better. I didn't want more drugs. Like, I didn't want more illegal drugs. I had those. I wanted something I could drink or something that fucking, you know, would stop this. And there wasn't that. I had to go through it, as they say. And I remember the doctor was like, you look like you're going through fucking drug withdrawals right now. Because I was bullshitting. I said I was sick or something. You know, I had a cold. And she's like, are you sure you're not on drugs? And I was like, yo, I'm sure. No, I'm not on drugs. And she's like, I don't believe you, Kyle. And I'm like, well, whatever. She's like, so you're telling me if I pull a tube of your blood right now, I'm not going to find anything in that? And I was like, yep, I'm on drugs. She goes, I need to know everything you've been taking and how much of it. And she hands me a fucking Post-it note, a little pad. And I said, I'm going to need a bigger one than this. and she looked at me, and I wasn't joking. I didn't say it like in a joking manner. Like, it was this little, like the little ones. And dude, I ended up writing like fucking 20 different fucking things on there in this month that I had been taking. And she's like, all right, well, there's a good chance that you're going to have a seizure for stopping taking the benzodiazepines. And so she gave me more Xanax, which I ended up actually taking the way I was supposed to, the way she told me to take it. And then I brought back what was left and gave it back to them. I was like, here, get the fuck rid of these. I think I'm good. I'm all feeling better. And I got rid of them. And I was proud of myself for doing that. And she says, I need you to be honest with me. How many of these drugs are coming out of this office? What? I don't fucking know. And I remember saying, I don't fucking know. You know, I don't know what. It's not like, oh, guess where I got this at the doctor's office. You know, no one fucking said that shit. So I guess I'm kind of getting off track here, but anyway, I couldn't ever do anything lightly. And I kind of, after that, I said, this is fucking crazy. You know, when I quit the antidepressants, the illegal drugs, And then I never went back to that. And at that time I said, I fucking quit. I'll never do this again. And with alcohol, how I quit that was after embarrassing my cousin and shit again. And I wanted to drink. That was like the hardest for me was alcohol and tobacco. Alcohol first. And I would say, I didn't, all right, today is today. And I didn't drink today. I was like, well, maybe if everything works out, I'll be able to drink tomorrow. And then I said, then tomorrow came. And I said, all right, you haven't drank today, so maybe you can drink tomorrow. And I just kept telling myself that. And tomorrow never came because it was always today. Okay, I didn't drink today. And all of those things were like the best things that I could have done. I remember at one point I was at my father's house and I just took a piss. And I fucking pulled out my little concoction. And I just got a bunch of 0.5 milligram Xanax, the peach ones. And so I had like a bunch of those on deck. And when I put them all in my hand to start making my little concoction that I was going to take, I fucking dropped one in a toilet full of piss. And it never even fucking crossed my mind like, yo, that's a toilet full of piss, dog. I fucking reached my hand right in, fucking grabbed it out, and just shook it off a little bit. And that one went first. And after I ate it, and it was like nothing, you know, whatever. And I reached back in my pocket and started getting it. I had to replace that one, obviously, because that one had piss on it, but I ate it. So I got to put another one in my little, so my handful looks like it should before I take it. And I remember thinking, damn, son, you just ate a fucking 0.5 milligram Xanax out of a toilet full of piss, albeit your own piss, and you got 30 more in your fucking pocket. Like, what's wrong with you? And this is just one of many things. But I can tell you that quitting all these things and not doing them anymore is and was extremely beneficial to me. And it hasn't been easy, but any time that I've said I've quit something, I quit. And it was done. And I never did it again. And it sounds easy. And I know it's not the same for everyone. But it is true when they say you gotta want to do it. Whatever your reasoning is. And you just gotta fucking do it. It sucks. You feel like shit. You gotta relearn how to act. Like, it was hard for me to relearn how to act after I stopped smoking cigarettes. Well, not cigarettes. I stopped smoking cigarettes too, but after I stopped smoking tobacco altogether, which was Black and Mild, it's like a lot of them. That was over 2 years ago now. Social fucking situations were like hard to figure out because, and now I still go outside when people are smoking just to like stand with them and have those same interactions, you know, but now I'm not smoking. And I would always dread like, oh, 4th of July, I would always be smoking. What am I going to do now? Look at, there he is, the cat that's not mine, walking across the yard. He must have gotten let out. There he is. He doesn't know I'm in this van watching him, motherfucker. Look at him just prancing right along. Anyway. How funny is it? I wish you could see this shit. Oh, he can hear me. He's looking. He's looking at me. Oh, he's coming. Oh shit, I'm sorry. All right, this is just the whole funny thing. All right, well, those are my fucking degenerate drug things. And people have confided in me and said, like, you know, congratulations on your sobriety and congratulations on being clean and congratulations. And they tell me how far they are along, and I am always fucking here for that. I'm not like a poster child for the program, for the way that the world says you should do it. But what I am is a fucking example of it can be done. You can fucking stop. And you are going to have to be uncomfortable, and you are going to have to relearn how to live, especially if you're fucking deep in there, man. But you can do it, and you'll figure it out, and it'll be okay. I promise. It will be okay. I never thought after my friend died that everything would be normal again, but things get normal again. And every time, it was like 50-50 when I would take fucking mushrooms, that either I would fucking completely freak out or I'd have a great fucking time. But I remember when I would freak out, I guess is the point I'm bringing up, is I would always think like, I'm stuck like this, that's it. I'm going to have to fucking feel like this forever. I'm going to be, I'm fucking never coming back. But I always came back. I hear some people don't. I don't really know if that's true or not. But the point of that is I always thought that I would always be like this. I could never watch another movie again. I could never fucking make music again. Well, I did quit doing drugs, and then I never made music again. Yeah. Not saying you can't, because I've made something else, and Devastator is the product of no drugs, no drinking, and now no smoking. And even though I feel like I lost a part of me creatively in music, I've gained a part of me in Devastator, and Devastator has brought me family and friends in places that I will never visit in my life. And there's a language barrier, and there are rough translations, and I think all of this was possible because I'm not a degenerate and fucked up anymore. And I treat this the same way as I treated drugs, and I try my best to make everything meticulously perfect in the way that it should be, or the way that I think it is. Like, you guys have no idea how many times I've restarted and scrapped whole things. Like, there's a good chance that one of your packages had an item in it that I noticed at some point that was fucked up, and I just couldn't send it to you. And it took a little bit longer because I had to redo everything. But it's possible. And I am now, it's not for everybody, and my views on things are different than a lot of people's, but fucking drugs are the devil, man. And I'm not the biggest fan of drugs anymore. And I used to not do drugs, but encourage people to, because I was always like a big, you're going to do your thing, and I'm not going to get in your way. But as I've gotten older, and I've noticed that sometimes people need that kind of intervention, and they need someone to say, like, that's fucked up, man. And I'm here for you, but I'm not going to condone what you're doing, because there's a lot of fucking heartbreak going on out in the world and close to us. And I think we all know somebody who's fucking died of an overdose at this point. Some of us more than others. And I feel like that drugs do lead to fucking worse things, and some people, they don't, and I commend you for that. I commend you that you got your shit together, and that you can do a little and not do a lot, or that you can only do this or you can only do that. But I tell my kids, man, fucking drugs are bad. Don't do fucking drugs. Don't do any drugs. Don't smoke weed. Don't do none of that shit. because I always thought I was just gonna smoke weed too, until I'm throwing up in Taco Bell fucking parking lot because I just did a bunch of fucking snorted a bunch of heroin. You know, that wasn't my plan when I fucking went to the weed spot on Myrtle Street the first time. I say, personally, if you don't do drugs, don't. And the way I tell my kids, the fucking easiest way to get off drugs is to not get on them. You know, and this isn't supposed to be a lecture, man. Just be careful out there. Know your limits. And if you ever need help, if you ever need anything, if you ever just need to chat, I'm not gonna fucking force anything on you. I'm not gonna fucking push sobriety on you. But I'm always here if you want to rap about fucking drugs and shit and anything. You know, I'm here for that. And I'm not gonna judge you, and I'm not gonna tell anybody you're fucking, you know, what you're going through. And that's gonna stay between us. And you can do this, man. You got it. You got this. Shout out to Bro Dar, man. He's my guy. Shout out to Austria, man. Shout out to everybody. That's it. Love you guys. Later.